Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 1950B, and today's date is August 22nd, 2019, and the title of the episode is Ammunition Used, Failed, Wait for it, Military Timing. Now, before we get started, we've been talking about protecting your devices, protecting yourself from big tech. I mean, it's the year 2019, and if you're not using a VPN by now on your desktop, tablet, or mobile device while you browse the internet, then you're really exposing yourself to a lot of potential danger. Here, let me show you how easy this is. Click Connect. Once I'm connected, my IP address is now different than before. See? This month, Virtual Shield is offering a 4th of July celebration special. Sign up for free for 30-day trial to Virtual Shield VPN and see what the hype is all about. You have nothing to lose. Click the link below. Let's get into the economic collapse, political and geopolitical news. Now, we know everything the deep state has been trying to do has completely failed. They've been using ammunition like crazy, but the Patriots are one step ahead. And we need to remember, even though Q gives us warnings about an event happening, it doesn't really mean that they know every specific detail and they have the ability to stop it. Sometimes I would think they just hear chatter, knowing that it's going to happen in a certain location and letting us know that, yes, something is going to happen. Don't know the exact date and time. We don't know the exact area, maybe a generalized area. And we know it's going to happen. And we need to understand is that Q, the Patriots, they're continually following, listening, and making sure they understand the moves of the deep state. They want them to use the ammunition. Ammunition is hard to come by. And we can see with the last event, they used a lot of ammunition. They thought they were going to distract everyone and push talking points and try to get gun control. And guess what happened? Nothing. It all fell apart. And I do believe that Trump, the Patriots, they're waiting for the absolute perfect time to release it all. Now, do I think it's going to be one dump? No, I think it'd be too much. And I think people need to digest this as more and more of it comes out. Why are they waiting for a specific time? Well, they know the deep state's going to plan more events. And they need to plan this and time it correctly. They only have one shot at this. And they know it. And this is why they keep throwing them off saying, oh, it's coming now, it's coming a little bit later, it's coming next week. They're doing this on purpose. We'll be discussing a little bit more of this later in this report. But very interestingly, the Overstock CEO, he has resigned now since that announcement about he has a lot of information about the deep state and things like that. And the stock of Overstock completely plummeted, and he decided to remove himself from the situation. And we can see the fallout here is really, really bad when you have a job and you mention something or you're with a company, because as we know, the deep state, they don't want people talking about anything. Now, very interestingly, the Obamas, they purchased a multi-million-dollar mansion at Martha's Vineyard. Now, this is estimated at a price of $14.85 million, and it contains 29 beachfront acres and 7 bedrooms, and it's on Martha's Vineyard off the coast of Cape Cod in Massachusetts. Now, I need to go back to post 3383. Now, in the first part, it talks about U.S. taxpayers are paying for it all, and it goes through Paris Accord, Red Cross, but the part I'm looking at is down below, where it says, imagine what would happen if by law every U.S. congressman, woman, U.S. senator, president, etc., was by U.S. law audited every 1 to 2 years by an independent agency. Imagine what would happen if those audits extended to all family members of such elected officials. Would D's continue to push for foreign aid to other seas versus the homeland? What would happen when the kickbacks dry up? Maxine Waters, $4 million house. Nancy Pelosi, net worth $150 million plus. Joe Biden's son, brother, net worth tens of millions. Clinton family, $200 million. Pre-election, they were worth less than $1 million. Obama family, $40 million. Pre-election, less than $1 million. Disguised under book deals. Those who take are offered more powerful positions within the party. Controlled. Drain the swamp. And this is what Q has been talking about. And we're watching it firsthand. These individuals, they make themselves very, very wealthy from the system. They take from the system. They don't give. Now, as we know, Judicial Watch, they've been looking into the Clinton email scandal. And we know that Tom Fitton, he's gathering more and more information and going after Hillary Clinton. Tom Fitton tweeted out the following. Happening now. Hillary Clinton back in federal court against Judicial Watch, fighting our request to question her on emails and Benghazi. Our legal team in court at 2 p.m. versus Hillary Clinton's lawyer and outrageously Department of Justice lawyers defending. And once again, Judicial Watch, they are pushing this agenda, getting as much as they possibly can, all the documents they possibly can, and going after Clinton. And I do believe this whole thing of the Department of Justice out there trying to stop Tom Fitton, this is part of the show. Because if the Department of Justice said, hey, go ahead, look, we got everything, here you go. Guess what? What would Clinton do? What would the rest of the deep state do? They would plan an event. This keeps them off track. It's military planning at its finest. Remember, I don't believe Q and the Patriots, Trump, they don't want these players to actually know what's going on. This is why there are no leaks, because when you're really investigating, you don't leak it out to the mainstream media and spread it all over the place. When you're really pursuing an investigation, everything's kept under wraps. It's not the deep state where they let everything leak out to let everyone know what is going on, and most of it's fake. This is a real investigation that's going on here. This is why you don't hear anything. Remember, we've been so used to hearing from the Washington Post, the New York Times, the CNN, the MSNBCs, the CNBCs. We've been so brainwashed into thinking this is how it's really done. All these news networks, they have everything because they did great reporting jobs. No. They were fed certain information to control the narrative and to shape the narrative into you thinking this is what's happening. But when there's a real investigation and there's a real grand jury and there's real evidence, they keep this all under wraps until the last minute. That's when they spring it on them. And that's when they have to defend themselves. That's why it's called a defense. That's why the Department of Justice is going to be on the offensive. They're all going to defend themselves. And when they throw documentation at them, videos, and they keep throwing more and more evidence, what's going to happen? We all know what's going to happen. They're going to have a very difficult time. The mainstream media is going to have a very difficult time explaining all of this. Now, with Jeffrey Epstein, at least 8 prison staffers knew that strict instructions were given not to leave multi-millionaire pedophile Jeffrey Epstein in a cell alone. So the fact that so many prison officials were aware of the directive, not just low-level correctional officers, but supervisors and managers, has alarmed investigators. And they are trying to figure all this out. Now, Shyman tweeted out the following. On the Jeffrey Epstein investigation, as many as 20 correctional officers who work at the Metropolitan Correctional Center received grand jury subpoenas this past Friday. Shyman continued, FBI, Department of Justice, very clearly being compelled to use subpoenas for information because employees of the jail have not been cooperative in the investigation. So once again, they're looking into what really happened with Epstein. Bill Barr with the Department of Justice, he's going along with the coroner's report, allowing these people to feel very comfortable that nothing is going along. Like I said before, how do you keep everything under wraps? How do you keep the investigation under wraps? You don't let any of the information out. You let the people feel very, very comfortable in their day-to-day lives. And this is exactly what we've been seeing for a very long time. I know a lot of people want the declass and everything right now, but remember, they are timing this for a specific reason. They know the deep state will try certain events if they get wind of what is about to happen. Think about it. If you were Trump, the Patriots, Department of Justice, would you make announcements that we're going to be dumping this information on a certain date? Or would you just do it on a specific date with no mention of it whatsoever? That's how I would approach it. This way, it catches everyone off guard. And I do believe they're waiting for the exact moment. Remember, the deep state right now, the mainstream media, all of these organizations, they are ready for this. They know it's coming. And they've been planning the big one, the big event. Trump and the Patriots, they know this. And they need to time this right. And I'm sure they're trying to figure out where, when, how this is all going to happen. There's a reason Trump continually points to Greenland. There's a reason why Obama is in Denmark. There's a reason why there was a project, Iceworm, and why the CIA, the clowns, used Greenland. There's a reason why he wants us to look there. Remember, there's tunnels. There could be nuclear weapons. There could be many, many things. And there's a specific reason why Trump is telling us, yes, look at Greenland. Now, the federal court, they have ruled that Electoral College members are not bound by popular votes. The 10th Circuit U.S. Court of Appeals in Denver ruled that the presidential electors can cast their vote for the presidential candidate of their own choice and are not bound by the popular vote in their states. Now think about this for a second. If the electors were bound by the popular vote, who would have won then? Hillary, because she actually got the popular vote in the last election. We know it was manipulated. We know there were a lot of people that shouldn't have been voting. And now, if the Electoral College doesn't agree with the popular vote, guess what? The popular vote that's been manipulated, they can't win. So why did the 10th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals rule this way? Well, Article 2 and the 12th Amendment provide presidential electors the right to cast a vote for a president and vice president with discretion. Now, who's not going to like this? The deep state players. We know that AOC, she's like on tour saying that the Electoral College is racist and we need to get rid of it. But guess what? It's going to be a dead end, a big fail. Now, we know we had these events in El Paso and Dayton, and everyone was afraid of the red flag gun laws. And Trump said, oh yeah, we should look at the red flag gun laws. And we knew that this was a complete and utter dead end. Even though he said, okay, Lindsey Graham, let's start looking at this. Let's start doing this. And what do we say? When everything starts to die down and everything fades away, what will happen? Well, Senate Homeland Security Chairman Ron Johnson, he doesn't expect red flag gun control to be passed anytime soon. Even though they were saying, in the media that, the red flag laws, they're gaining speed in the Senate. It looks really good. Gun control is coming. He said, I really don't see the dynamic having really changed there much. I don't anticipate we're going to pass a federal red flag law. It's disappearing because their entire agenda didn't work. Trump knew this. He played along for optics. That's it. And he said we need to use common sense. So we can see that everything that they tried to do did not work. Now, Trump, he is bringing up NATO spending figures once again. He tweeted out the following: at NATO, very unfair to the United States. But this time, he gave us a graphic. And it says NATO guideline 2% showed the U.S. way above that. It looks like it's around 3.7. And then it shows all the other countries where there's maybe 8 or so that are around the 2%, but the rest, about 15 or so, they're way below the 2% guideline. And once again, why is the United States paying for all these countries? There's no reason for it. Actually, do we really need NATO anymore? Who created the Cold War? I believe that all of this is going to disappear. And I think this is the beginning stage of Trump dismantling all of this by saying the United States is not paying for this anymore. If you want protection, you got to ante up. And once all the other countries ante up, guess what? The United States no longer needs to pay for this. And as relationships between Russia, China, and many other countries start to all work out, will there be any reason to even have NATO? No, there won't be. Why? The deep state, the neocons, they will no longer be in power. NATO was put into place because they thought Russia was going to start a war. And they were preparing for this. And they kept it going. And they used NATO all throughout the many, many years. But all that is about to change. Now, what's very interesting, out in Philadelphia, the shooter, the 36-year-old suspect, Maurice Hills, who shot and wounded 6 officers, we come to find out that he was a federal informant. Now, that is very interesting. It feels like all these individuals have some relationship to the feds, some way, somehow, and they're an informant or they're dealing with them, and it's just amazing. So here we are once again where the deep state, they tried to push an event, tried to distract and push the news cycle, and it completely failed. Now, we talked in the beginning about how timing is very, very important. Think about what we've been through since Trump became president. Everyone surrounding him was put into place not by him, but by neocons, the deep state, and the swamp was deep and wide. They surrounded him. They were in all the federal courts. They were everywhere. He couldn't get anything done. And at this point, when he was elected, people said, okay, let's arrest these people. Well, think about it. Who was the director of the FBI? Who was in the Department of Justice? Who were the other agents? Who were the judges on the federal courts? The timing would be awful. Nothing would have happened. Think about it. When Obama was there, what happened? Nothing. With all these people in place, nothing would have happened. So the timing would have been terrible. Again, that wasn't the right time. Trump and Q, and the Patriots, they started to remove the blocks, getting rid of certain FBI agents, firing Comey, getting rid of certain people in the Department of Justice. Mueller was put into place. He was investigating. Do you think the timing would have been good then? No, the timing would have been awful. But people said, we should go get them. Well, Mueller was there. Who was head of the Department of Justice? Rod Rosenstein? Sessions. He recused himself, so that would have been tough. They would have said it was a political hit. That wouldn't have been good. And there were still blocks in place. The Mueller report ended. Everyone said, all right now, we got to go after them. Dump everything. Well, they started obstruction. They started impeachment. They were going to have Mueller testify. Was that a good time? No. They would have said, oh, we're pursuing impeachment. This is why Trump and the Patriots are going and dumping this information as a political hit. Wasn't a good time. Trump and the Patriots brought in Barr. He let the world know that, yes, there was spying. Why? To allow the people to understand what is coming, that there is spying. Trump and the Patriots, they started to dump some information. And these are Freedom of Information Act request documents, letting everyone know that, yes, these things did happen. The people, they're looking at this saying, okay, we're having documents now. We have facts. Let's go after them right now. This is perfect. We're approaching the elections now. They're pushing recession now. When do you think the timing would be perfect? Think about it. Think about what Trump and the Patriots are still doing. They're still battling against the mainstream media. They're still placing federal judges in the courts around the country. Are we almost there? Yes, we are. They know that the deep state, they're planning the big event. We know from Q's posts that they prepared an emergency system to allow the communication between Trump, his administration, and the people. Think about what social media has been doing. They've been banning channels, shadow banning Twitter accounts, banning Twitter accounts, controlling. But what's been happening lately? Information is coming out, letting the world know that this is what they really do and there are facts behind it. There's an investigation going on with the big tech companies, looking at YouTube, Google, Twitter, Facebook, seeing if there's any violations in the antitrust laws. Remember, all this has to be done before any of this can come out. They're still draining and removing blocks. Look, Coates just left. He resigned. C before D. Timing is very, very important. And they know, we don't, they know the exact time. I mean, when we look back in time, we can say to ourselves, yeah, you know what? That would have been awful. That wouldn't have been a good time. Oh, that wouldn't have gone the way we thought it was going to go. Remember, remove your expectations. Remove the way you think it's going to happen. Then you don't have to worry about it. Let the information flow out. Let the plan unfold the way it's supposed to. Enjoy the show. That's why Q continually says, enjoy the show. Remove your expectations, remove what you think is going to happen, and just enjoy the show. It's like watching a movie. You're watching a movie, and they're giving you more and more information. You're not expecting the end because you don't know what it's going to be yet. You might think you know, but if you're just enjoying the show, you just enjoy it. You watch it. And that's what we all need to do. They already picked the right time. They're not going to let us know. They surely don't want the deep state to know. They're not going to make a big announcement. By the way, everyone, we're going to be dumping the D class today. If they do that, the deep state, they're ready. I believe it's just going to happen with no announcement to catch them off guard. They don't know when this time is going to be, but I think they're getting prepared for the event that they're going to try to throw at this. And they're trying to gather as much information as they possibly can, because this can't be a shooting. This has to be something larger, and they know it. So again, timing is very important. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.